Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 2021 ESTA Awards of Excellence and Markets Update, organised by ESTA and its partner KHL Group and International Cranes and Specialised Transport magazine. My name is Alex Tedder. I'm delighted to be your host this afternoon. I hosted it last year, quite a few things for ESTA, so I'm delighted to be with you. So let's get started. I'm going to give you a few housekeeping notes about the event. But before I do that, I would like to introduce Tom Klein, who I'm sure you know, who's the director of ESTA, together with Alex Dahn of International Cranes and Specialised Transport, who have some opening words for you. So let's hand over to Tom. Tom.
Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining this ESTA Awards and Market Update webinar, organized with our partners at International Cranes and Specialized Transport. Unfortunately, for personal reasons, our president, Mr. David Collett, is unable to be with us today. So I am welcoming you on his and ESTA's behalf. We hope that all of you are well and safe. When we gathered last year for our first online awards ceremony, I did not think that we would still be meeting online a year later. Hopefully, we will be able to meet in person before too long. The ESTA Awards have grown to be a major event, celebrating companies of all types and nationalities. And during today's ceremony, the awards presentations themselves will be interspersed with 3 short topical presentations. Mr. Jens Ennen, CEO at Tadano Faun and Tadano Demag in Germany, will give an overview of the post-COVID crane market. Mr. Moritz Dickmann, Managing Director of Nöpel Group, will discuss the reforms to Germany's VEMAGS transport permits. And Garrick Nisbet of Notus Heavy Lift will report on lifts and transport at the Hinkley Point C nuclear power plant in the UK. In advance, I would like to thank them all for their time and expertise. Let me say a few brief words about ESTA and some of our recent work. As always, it is driven by our desire to improve safety and raise standards. Despite the pandemic, we have been extremely busy. For example, European Crane Operator License continues to expand and gain supporters. We also worked closely with the IRU on European heavy transport issues, such as the new ERRU register and the VEMAGS permit reforms in Germany. And we will soon see new best practice guides from the ICSA on the use of mobile cranes on barges and the use of cranes for pile driving. By the way, ESTA's own best practice guide on the safety during construction of onshore wind farms is still available for free from our website. Suggestions, comments and input to these issues and others, whether from our members or the wider industry, are always welcome. At this point, I should add that we are about to launch our new website, which will be more user-friendly and greatly improve communications with our members and the wider industry. Finally, I would like to finish with some thank yous. Firstly, for the judges, under the guidance of our old friend Wim Ritchie. You will see all of their names shortly. They've done an excellent and professional job, I think. Secondly, for our sponsors, Tadano, Liebherr, Kesburer and GIS. In such a turbulent world, we appreciate your commitment to our industry even more than usual. Next, a huge thank you to all of the firms who entered, and of course, good luck to all of you finalists. And last but not least, thank you to everyone attending today. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you face to face over a beer in Helsinki at ESTA's autumn meeting. That is, if we are allowed to. And now let me hand you back to Alex.
Thank you, Tom. Am I on? Thank you, Tom. I just want to add my own welcome on behalf of KHL, International Cranes and Specialised Transport. Hope you enjoy the event today. It's the main thing. Also, I'd like to echo Tom's thanks awards, especially in such a challenging year that we've had and continue to have. We're proud to be organising the awards again with ESTA this year. We're sorry it's not in person, but we hope you'll get a lot out of it today with the speakers and the awards. I'd like you to encourage you to network with the other attendees and sponsors during and after the event today. Alex Taylor, not me, will help you with some guidance on that. And with that, I will hand back to him. Alex Taylor.
Yes, thank you. It's a disadvantage of having too many Alexes at the event. Thank you very much indeed to both Tone and Alex. Before we introduce the first speaker, I would like to give you a quick summary of the program and also a few words about how to actually use the platform we have today. We have 3 industry presentations and 2 awards sessions over the next 2 hours. There will be a short networking break after the first half of the awards. And then at the end, because this platform will remain live, we encourage you to stay online for 45 minutes if you like to network using the chat and also the video call functions. Let me also say a few words about the platform itself. You will be watching this on the viewing box. If you want to maximize the size of that, then you can click on the full screen option on the bottom right of this box, or you can click the pop-out option as well. If you use the pop-out option, that allows you to continue to chat or network while viewing the event. For networking, you have a series of options. There's a social wall, which you can use to post messages or pictures, whatever you want within reason. You can contact attendees individually using chat or video call options. That includes the representatives of the sponsors as well. To do that, go to the networking or attendee section and just search through the different lists. There's also an exhibitor hub, which gives details of sponsors, including their representatives, who are live today with us on the platform. Next to the viewing panel, there are chat and question and answer buttons. The chat button allows you to send public messages to everyone watching, and the question and answer option, which we'll be using later, allows you to direct questions to the speakers, which I will moderate. So please expect a few seconds delay before they appear. Please don't ask any questions using the chat button because we won't be able to see them. If you have a question, use the question and answer button. I hope that's all clear. Before we move on with the first speaker, we wanted to conduct a short poll of everyone who's watching us. We have you all together today, so it makes sense to ask you about some important issues facing the industry. We're going to have 2 polls today, and you will find the first one alongside the question and answer and chat buttons where it says poll. So if you just click on poll now, you'll see that the first question, which is up there, is which of the following is the most important or concerning for our industry? You can only choose one. So please start answering straight away. You'll see it will change. Is it skills shortages? Is it protectionism and Brexit? Is it the infrastructure investment? They're changing as I talk. Or is it impractical bureaucracy? So if you could choose one of those, let's give everybody an opportunity to vote. Well, there does seem to be a very clear winner. Skills shortages, very much so, followed in second place by infrastructure investment with protectionism and Brexit and impractical bureaucracy. But skills shortage very much on your mind. I'm sure we'll be touching on that later. So this is an appropriate lead-in to our first speaker today, who is Jens Ennen, who is CEO of Tadano Demag GmbH and Tadano Faun GmbH. Hello, Jens. I think you're with us, and I think your topic is the world crane market and the post-COVID landscape. So over to you, Jens.
Okay, thanks, Alex, and welcome to everyone. We can see ourselves only very foggy, so that might be related to the weather conditions here in Zweibrücken or the internet connection. I don't know which one is guilty for that, but nonetheless, I hope you can hear and see me well. So good afternoon. Thanks to ESTA and KHL for inviting me. And later on in the show here, good luck to everyone that is nominated for one of the prestigious awards. For those that haven't met me yet, my name is Jens Ennen, and I'm the CEO of Tadano Demag and Tadano Faun since the August of 2019. I can now look back on 3 decades of experience in the crane industry. Cranes still fascinate me today, as they did on my very first day. I started after graduation in 1991 with crop cranes, not existing anymore today, and then later through growth and Manitowoc, and most recently had the position of a senior vice president for mobile cranes, before I took over my current role at Tadano roughly 2 years ago. Today, I'm very proud to be the Chief Executive Officer of Tadano Demag and Tadano Faun. For me, Tadano is combining a passion for cranes and the opportunity to create something big. I am here to help shape the Tadano Group's long-term goal, becoming a global leader in the lifting equipment industry. I will now dive into the topic of this keynote, share my thoughts on the current status of our crane industry, and also my personal views on the post-COVID landscape. I have to say here that this is obviously a little bit biased by Tadano's view, since I cannot look into the crystal ball of our competitors' views. So what you will hear is my assumption on what the general market does, a little bit biased by what Tadano has experienced. And I'm welcoming any questions at the end of my presentation. So, as already mentioned, a little over a year ago, most of us were in Las Vegas at ConExpo. The COVID pandemic was slowly starting. And I wonder who would have predicted that more than 1 year later, we would still be in this state of uncertainty. We have all been very busy already prior to Corona. We had lots of meetings, we're traveling all over the globe. We did shake hands, and we had face-to-face contact wherever possible. 12 months later, the world is still turning, but we have learned to adapt to the new situation and have found ways to execute our business and meetings virtually. Nonetheless, COVID-19 and other circumstances have left a big mark on the business volume as well as on the way how we conduct our business today. Just remember, already prior to the COVID crisis, starting at the end of 2019, the oil price had already slowed down our industry significantly. You can see that represented in the chart that shows the dollar price for a barrel of oil. Then COVID-19 was hitting, and the crane industry, not every industry, but the crane industry was led into a tough crisis, probably one of the most serious in our history. The post-crisis activity has been subject to a lot of speculation with several questions. Will all the customers return to us? When will they return? What will be their expectations? And we, as manufacturers, had to project ourselves and prepare for the rebound. But we also had to identify the opportunities and the inevitable strategic ruptures caused by a crisis of this magnitude. We will surely have to adapt to the changing and challenging customer demands, for which we don't know how they look like and what they will be in the foreseeable future. In a more structural way, the crisis has anyhow taken place in a period of rapid change already and has been accelerated by the crisis. Therefore, strategic choices have to be anticipated and product development has to be accelerated. Also, and that's naturally so, in these challenging times, the competition has become even stronger in this industry, obviously also related to the dropping volume that has been happening since COVID crisis has started. This has brought tough decisions to be made. For us in Tadano, with the example of the protective shield proceedings that we have been having here in Germany. The pandemic pressure has put pressure on companies with a focus especially on costs, but it has also brought interesting developments. For example, this has clearly pushed all the players to innovate even further. Just witness the numerous launches of new products by the various manufacturers over the past 12 months. Talking a little bit about Tadano, we have taken this as a unique opportunity to somehow hit the reset button. We have used the overall slowdown in the industry that is caused by the pandemic to speed up our necessary restructurings. Our internal reorganization has been done in 6 months, and we have finalized restructuring in all areas of our business. We have also taken this chance to decide that we move all our brands into a single and unified brand, as you can see on the slide there. So we're joining forces of all the brands that we have and combine them under the strong name of Tadano. This will bring together best equipment, technologies, and support structures so we can better contribute to our customers' success. We plan to finalize this rebranding with the introduction of the first jointly developed all-terrain cranes between the Zweibrücken and Lauf factories, bringing together the best of both worlds. As a part of the global strategy for the whole Tadano Group, this will allow us to improve innovation and significantly increase the number of new crane models that will be introduced to the crane market in the next 4 years. Coming back to the little bit more global picture, what have we really been seeing since the beginning of 2020? There have been disparities between different sectors. Many areas, of course, were affected by the pandemic, but for example, parts of the construction industry have stayed high, and the demand for tower cranes, as one example, has stayed very strong. On the other hand, industries such as the wind and oil industry have suffered, and we saw a major drop in the demand for crawler cranes, and as well assist and rigging cranes required to erect those cranes in the field. On a more positive note, we can currently notice that a global recovery is at least slowly starting. To illustrate this a little bit better, we will show some market shares for all-terrain cranes on the coming slides to demonstrate the different trends or the different impacts that have happened to the regions. Europe, for example, has not been impacted by the same way as North America. Some regions like China, for example, have even seen a strong increase. So if you look at the slide here, you can see that the Europe market has been dropping significantly from 2019 to 2020. On the other hand, on the right-hand side, you see Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, or DACH, which has been flat or even slightly increased from 2019 to 2020. Both of these markets are not really impacted by oil, but as we know, especially the southern part and the western part of Europe have been hit very hard by the COVID pandemic from the beginning, and that's why we have been seeing those markets dropping much harder than the German market, for example. On the next slide, we take a look at North America, and you can see a heavy impact from 2019 to 2020, obviously related to the drop in oil price and therefore the reduction of oil exploration in North America. On the other hand, Asia, not taking China and Japan into consideration, has stayed almost flat from 2019 to 2020. And then last but not least, you see China with a huge increase from 2019 to 2020. Summing all that up, the global market still has seen a severe hit from 19 to 20 as shown on the right-hand side. Currently, we see first signs of a recovery, as I've already mentioned earlier. So we're slightly optimistic that 2021 will be a better year, and we hope that the overall volume in the crane market is going to increase over the course of 2021. Corona has also brought changes to the way how we do business, as I've already mentioned earlier. Changes that concern our entire industry, but probably the work life in all kinds of businesses globally. There has been a huge increase in home office, the use of digital media or media platforms to connect with each other. This has certainly a big impact on all of us and our business relationships. Some of these changes will most likely become permanent. And although our industry is made of personal relationships and physical meetings, we will have to find different means to conduct our business. And then also, when will we do physical handshakes again? And will we do physical handshakes again in the future? That's all unknown right now. So a good question would be, are we already in the post-COVID world? Do we still have to look into a crystal ball for everything that is going to happen? Or can we already put forward some certainties? So what will be the next steps or the future for our industry? As I said, We're already seeing the market slightly getting better, and we're expecting it to get even better with the increase of vaccinations in the second half of 2021. A true recovery, I think one can expect only to start in 2022, and pre-COVID levels in terms of business volume may only be reached by 2024. This would be a similar recovery curve or some similar recovery time as we have experienced in the Lehman crisis 2008 and 2009. Other things we have to consider is the climate crisis and the environmental impact of, it's wrong. The environmental impact that needs to be, reduced to basically bring a way out of the climate crisis. So ongoing efforts to improve the world climate and to reduce the global warming are fostering the requirement to be emission neutral. This has a big impact on the way how we generate our energy. The move from fossil to renewable sources of energies will change the landscape for energy infrastructure as well as the transport industry and even passenger mobility. There's a big move towards electrical vehicles. Diesel engines are likely to disappear after 2030. They might be replaced by hydrogen combustion engines or fuel cell technology potentially. As a result of the Paris Climate Contract, car and truck OEMs, and then most likely also everybody else that is using combustion engines, will be forced to speed up the efforts towards CO2-free vehicles. This will definitely impact all industries. At Tadano, we've been working on those issues for years, and one of the projects was the EPAC, which, as you may remember, won the ESTA award exactly here 1 year ago. So I believe that this, together with the change in behavior, will have a big impact on everything that we are going to do in the foreseeable future. There's also the question about global products versus customized products. I'm giving you the example of the infrastructure in Germany here. Everybody that's driving on a motorway from time to time knows what is going on here. All the bridges are in very poor state. This is also true in other countries like North America, for example. So the infrastructure will change a lot. It can also be supposed that this will have an impact on the way cranes will be designed for the future. Today, we already use several axle load regulations all over the globe. With all the problems in infrastructure and all the money that is spent to recover this infrastructure, it could be assumed that there will be a move towards lighter cranes. So the topic, for example, of 10-ton axle load may come up again and may even be accelerated. So in closing, there's lots of challenges ahead. And I'm very sure that the industry will look completely different in 10 years from now. I believe that we all have to adapt to that new demand, and that if we make the right choices, the crane industry can emerge from this crisis better armed for the future, more agile, more resilient in the face of the change that the crisis will certainly, or that the crisis has certainly accelerated. So with that, thanks for your attention, and I think I hand it back to Alex for questions.
Thank you very much indeed, Jens. That was a very interesting overview. We couldn't quite see you, were a bit misty, but we certainly heard your voice and your message very clearly. Stay with us because we have a few questions popping up. I'm discovering them live on the screen. If you could answer these, thank you very much indeed, Mr. Ennen. Can you give us Tadano's view on the role of exhibitions in the future? An interesting question with COVID, and specifically Bauma next year. What can you say about that?
As a company, I think Tadano is a strong supporter of these exhibitions. And our position might be slightly different to what we have seen in the media in the past days. So I think we generally love to attend these shows, and we will continue to attend these shows, even if there might be a move towards doing those things more virtually. But especially in our business, as I said earlier, the personal relationship is doing a lot. So we're fans of Bauma or Conexpo or other trade shows, and we will continue to participate.
Okay, regarding the strong growth of all-terrain sales in China, what is the proportion of domestically produced machines?
It is tough to say because we don't have statistics that tell us who has been producing what. But I think the assumption is correct that most of the products sold in China are also produced in China.
Okay, we have a question from Discovering These Questions Live with you, Gregory Teperek from Heavy Trucks and Cranes website, ballast.pl. I was a few years ago at the premiere of the ATF 600G8. I'm interested in whether this model met your expectations and expectations of your customers. Has it been a success in Europe? Jens.
Yeah. So since all of you know that we are just in the process of merging Tadano Demag and Tadano Faun's product portfolios, we have identified that we have overlap in that particular area, and we're having successful models from the Demag portfolio already. And that's one of the reasons why we have decided to not introduce the ATF 600 to the marketplace.
Okay, somebody asking, the figures you showed, are these units?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
When you showed us the figures, were you talking about units? Somebody wants you to be precise.
Yeah, that was units, not euros or dollars or something. Yes.
Okay, just two more quick questions. Can you say a little bit more about your strategy for the electrification of cranes?
Yeah, I think you have already seen that we have developed this power pack, which was part of the ESTA presentation last year. And our customers are starting to accept that as a solution to be emission neutral when you do lifting jobs. Our current strategy is to expand that to other models of the fleet. And then we have certain things in the background, which we don't really want to talk about here now publicly, but there's more to come. And as I told you, I think that the truck industry will be leading our way in that regard. And most of them are looking into fuel cell technology for the medium-sized trucks or range applications. And for the larger trucks and the larger or the higher ranges, everyone seems to be favoring the hydrogen combustion engine. So I believe that's the way that the industry is moving forward. So most likely we are going to follow that trend somehow.
Okay, and one final question. Do you have any plan for remote crane operations?
That's a good question and a very interesting technology. And what I can say here is that we are looking into that, but there are no concrete plans at this point in time.
Well, at least I tried to get the scoop from you. Anyway, Jens, thank you so much for your time today. The picture was a little bit fuzzy, but we could certainly hear you loud and clear. Thank you very much indeed to Jens Ennen. Dankeschön. Right, now it's time to move on to the first of our awards segments today. First of all, it's always a good idea to thank all of the judges whose names I think you will be seeing on the screen. There we are. Special thanks to the coordinator of the jurors, as ever, Wim Ritchie, and to the chairs of the two sets of judges, our friends Peter van Dam and Willem Speck. So there we are. I'm sure we'll give them a big virtual round of applause for all their efforts. They had a lot of work to do with 32 selected entries from about 50 entries altogether. Now, I think we have representatives of all the shortlisted companies in a virtual waiting room. I'm sure they're all very nervous, and we will place the winners on the screen after each award. Maybe we could see the shortlisted representatives. I don't know if that's possible to draw them on. Ah, here we are. Yes, we can see them. So if you could all wave, thank you so much for being with us. I'm sure it's difficult, so we're all very excited, and we will be putting you out of your misery soon. So now it's time to go through the first 5 categories, as you can see on the screen. And our first award is for combined techniques, and we have 4 companies shortlisted, and they are Fagioli for using 238 axle lines of SPMT to carry bridge sections weighing as much as 2,000 tons for the construction of the new San Giorgio Bridge in Genoa in Italy. Second is Friederici Special. It used a bespoke trailer and other special equipment to extract a 24-ton valve component from a cavern inside a mountain down a 450-meter tunnel. Next, we have Mammoet Europe BV, who used a customized Mammoet DHS 500 special lifting system to remove 3 steam generators and a pressurizer as part of a nuclear power decommissioning project in Germany. And finally, Sarens NV is shortlisted for using a 1,250-ton capacity pedestal crane mounted on a floating platform, which you can see, to lift 250-ton foundation piles for the Friesland wind farm in the Netherlands. So good luck to all the companies. And to reveal the winner, I'm delighted to hand over to Fabio Potesta, one of our judges, and also representing awards sponsors GIS. Buongiorno, Fabio.
Nice everybody. I hope you can hear me. All the best from Italy. I have good news from Italy. The GIS organizer, most likely next week, our Prime Minister will will issue a decree which is will be stating that shows and conferences will be allowed again starting from next July, which is a good news. I think, it's just to share optimism. Therefore, most likely GIS will be the first show in presence of the business, of the market. Therefore, I hope to see you in person soon in October in Piacenza. Okay, that said, okay, now getting into the official role, I'm pleased to announce that the winner of ESTA Awards 2021 for the category of combined techniques is Mammoet Europe for its work on the decommissioning project in Germany. Congratulations to Mammoet.
So there we are. We have Mammoet Europe, the winners. Congratulations. And I think we can go over live to Mammoet's Soren Muller. Hello, Soren. You're live. A few words of reaction.
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon to everybody. Thanks very much. It's a very nice feeling to take this award. It's for us as Mammoet, for our whole team, a big appreciation of our efforts and achievements and services we were able to provide in this project. First of all, I would like to give a big thank you to our client EnBW, ENKK, who provided us with their trust to award that job to us. And in the second point, I want to thank the whole team whose hard planning for a month made it possible to successfully complete this challenging task. There were numerous challenges in this project. First, I think everybody who has executed something similar in a nuclear environment knows that per se it's a challenging environment to work. We had steam generators that had not been moved for 40 years and confined spaces. And nevertheless, we executed exactly 1 year ago when Corona started to hit. So I'm really proud that we managed to find a suitable and safe solution for all these challenges and were able to execute them. And thanks a lot for this award.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and congratulations to Mammoet, and that was Soren Muller. Now let's move on to our second award. This is the Transport Award for trailer and load under 121 tons gross combined weight. There are 4 companies in the shortlist. We have Bulk Transport, who moved 2 historic rail cars by road, with each loaded combination with beam trailers was 35 meters long and weighed 98 tons. Second, we have Collett & Sons for a bridge beam transport project over 450 kilometers involving 120 loads ranging up to 44 meters and weighing up to 88 tons. Our third shortlisted project is from Friederici Special, who moved a solar aircraft 1,750 kilometers from Switzerland to Spain, with the plane split into 5 main pieces, 25 meters long. And finally, Lasso transported 12 wind turbine blades, each 67 meters long, on the tortuous roads of the Portuguese island of Madeira. So 4 fantastic projects. So we're going to find out who the winner is. And I'm delighted to hand over to Ifet Türken, who is an executive board member of Caspora, one of our sponsors today. How are you, Ifet? Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Alex. And I would like to, first of all, wish everyone health and hope for the future. And I am delighted to announce the transport project of the year for trailer and load under 120 tons gross combined weight. And the award goes to Lasso Transport for transporting wind turbine blades on Madeira Island. Congratulations, Lasso.
So congratulations, thank you very much. If it's so Lasso, you have won the second award. And I think we have Patricia Lino, Ricardo Barista, and Francisco Ruiz, or any combination of them. Hello, are you there?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. First of all, of course, we are delighted to get this award. It was extremely good work for performance from Lasso side, but also a word of appreciation to all the finalists, because each one deserved to get this award. But the final decision, it was Lasso, so we are quite happy with that. As you mentioned before, this was a project that took place in a Portuguese island called Madeira, small island planted in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Very beautiful island, so it's worth to visit. Beautiful landscapes. We have also really good food, even better wine, and extremely good weather. So everyone is invited to come and visit and spend your money with us, because we need it. Just talking a little bit about the project. It was a wind project that we had to use the blade lifter because it was rough terrain, mountain areas, a lot of bridges, a lot of tunnels that forced us to have a lot of studies, feasibility, also structure studies, and it was a lot of effort from our teams. A special thanks to our, let's say, commercial team that got the award that allow us to do the project. Also to our, let's say, technical and engineering teams also, that have done a hell of a job. And the last but not the least, to all our operational guys that performed the operation as it was aligned since the beginning. So it was a perfect, it was a well done. Thank you guys for this. And a special thanks also for the local authorities that for their availability, because they help us a lot to succeed with the project. Hopefully, the next year we'll be able to be together as long as the COVID allows us to do so. And meanwhile, and until then, I wish everyone to be safe and take care. So thank you for the award.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. That was Lasso, and not the Madeira Tourist Board, as we might have thought, but thank you very much indeed. And congratulations to you. So let's move on to our third award. This is the cranes category for a telescopic crane with a lifting capacity of more than 120 tons. Again, we have 4 shortlisted projects in this category. First of all, Fagioli on a job where an ancient Roman bridge played its part in the installation of a new pedestrian 115-ton bridge using a pair of mobile cranes. Second is Hannes for using an 8-axle crane at the bottom of a lock chamber to install a new lock gate in many pieces, as you can see in the picture. Third, we have Mammoet Europe BV, which used 3-wheeled mobile cranes to install a steel bridge structure spanning the length of a skate park and fitting into a 70-meter tall tower. And last but not least, Schott Vertical Transport, whose careful preparation in relation to central gravity ensured the success of an offshore crane boom removal and reinstallation using two-wheeled mobile cranes. So 4 very worthy contenders. Let's put you out of your misery, find out who the winner is. I'm handing back to Ton Clay. Ton, tell us who is the winner.
The winner of this telescopic crane project for lifting capacity of more than 120 tons is Mammoet Europe for the installation of a steel bridge using 3 mobile cranes. Congratulations, Mammoet.
Absolutely, there we are. Congratulations to Mammoet, and I'm handing over, I think we have Mark Grevinga and Sven Segeren, I think, at Mammoet. Hello, congratulations.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this, for this award.
We'd like to thank our client, Voortman Steel Construction, for giving this project to us and prepare this project together with them. And we would like to thank our engineering department for making it possible to install this bridge section using this method. And we'd like to thank our operational crew for making it all possible at the end.
Thank you. Congratulations. That was Mark Grebinger and Sven Segren from Mammoet Europe. Congratulations for that award. Let's go on to our 4th award today, which is in the all-important category of safety. And this time we have 3 shortlisted technologies. First of all, Fagioli for its Zaudit app to improve employee engagement with health, safety and environmental issues by allowing immediate communication, including the reporting of any incidents. Second is Liebherrwerk Ennen for including higher maximum wind speeds with its wind speed load charts function to improve safety and reduce the time mobile cranes are winded off. And finally, Sarens NV has developed the wind speed disk tool for crane operators, and this is to help calculate the wind speed at the top of a boom using forecasts from weather apps. All quite new technology being involved with these. So to find out who the winner is, it's always a pleasure. Het is altijd een genoegen je te mogen begroeten. Caroline van Geest of ESTA.
Thank you, Alex. Always a pleasure to see you. I'm delighted to announce that the safety award goes to Liebherrwerk Ennen for its work on load charts and wind speeds. Gratuleer.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations to Liebherrwerk Ennen, and with a bit of luck, we can connect directly to Liebherr's Christoph Kleiner. Christoph, congratulations.
Alex, thank you very much. Also, Caroline, thank you very much. Vielen Dank. We are very pleased on behalf of our team here in Ehingen to get this safety award. It's a win-win situation to enhance safety and at the same time to increase uptime. I think it's for the whole industry a smart tool to use. Thank you for awarding us.
Unseren Applaus haben Sie auch verdient. Congratulations to Liebherrwerk Ennen. And now we come to the 5th award, which will conclude the first part of our events ceremony this afternoon before we move on to our second speaker. And this award is for innovation from an end user. And there are 4 companies in the shortlist. First of all, BMS, which designed in-house a modular electro-hydraulic crane for installation of escalators in new and existing buildings. Next, in Italy, Fagioli, which installed an 1,800-ton concrete plinth in the open sea using a catamaran built from barges, square tower lift masts, spreader and crossbeams, plus strand jacks. The third shortlisted entry is from Mammoet Europe BV for creating the Focus 30, a high-capacity pedestal crane in the 2,500-ton class. And finally, once again, we have Sarens NV for its SGC 90, a fully electric 1,650-ton capacity heavy lifting ring crane. So in order to find out who the winner is in this fifth award, let's go back to Alex Dahm, editor of the International Cranes and Specialized Transport. Alex, please.
Thanks very much, Alex. Thanks a lot. And I'm really excited. I'm very pleased to announce the winner of the Innovation End User Award for 2021 ESTA Awards is Mammut Europe for its Focus 30 high capacity pedestal crane. Thank you very much. Congratulations to them. Thank you, Alex.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Mammut Europe. And I think we can go over to Eric Visser. Eric Hatuliers, congratulations. Over to you. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, hello, Alex. Hello, everyone. Yeah, thanks to ESTA for this award. What a great recognition and a nice appreciation for our project, the development of the Focus 30 crane, which over the past 2 years has been a real exciting engineering quest to develop this machine. Basically, our project was to build a superlift crane which erects the boom vertically. Our main challenge in this project was to design an erection system, but at the same time make sure that we develop all the components in the crane so that we have operationally the best crane possible. It was absolutely nice to work on it, and last year seeing it come together during testing and commissioning, and now actually seeing it in operation in its first job. Yeah, that was awesome. I would like to thank some people at Mammut, the team that worked on this project, starting with Jacques Stove, our head of innovation, who really pushed the project and gathered lots of information from our clients so that we were building the right machine. But also the engineering team, the build team, who put in a lot of efforts, all the way to the operators and the supervisors who put the machine together and tested it and commissioned it last year. So big thanks to all of them, and yeah, this is really nice appreciation for our team. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, and congratulations to you. That was Eric Visser, and congratulations to all the nominees and to all the winners in the first half of our awards ceremony. So congratulations, everybody. Right, now, before we move on to our second speaker this afternoon, who's Moritz Dickmann from Nöpel Group, we're going to have a 5-minute break, during which we will play a short video, and this video is going to highlight some of the absolutely incredible projects and technology featured in all of our awards today. So see you in 5 minutes after this film. So there we are, some of the absolutely incredible projects you've just seen and the technology which are featured in awards this afternoon. Nice to see you back. We're on the second part of our live program. Delighted to welcome Moritz Dickmann, who is a director at German special transport company, Nöpel Group. Moritz, hello, schön, dass Sie da sind. You're going to discuss the implications for the transport sector of the reforms to VEMAGS transport permits. And please remember, before I hand over to Moritz, that you can ask any questions. As you see, the questions came up. I ask any questions you want after Moritz's presentation. So over to you, Moritz.
Yes, hi. I hope you're all fine. Congratulations to the winners up to now. I'm still jealous on the people of Lazo who could work on Madeira. Very, very nice. And good luck also to all the other participants which will follow. So I'm here to show you something, perhaps one last sentence to our company. We do service for special transport companies all over Europe. We organize permits all over Europe and order escort. We have own escort cars here for Germany and partners in all other countries. And today I want to tell you something of the status of the VEMAGS system, which we use to order permits in Germany. So I will start with the presentation now. So I had make 3 parts of it, and it's only 3 parts of it because we have not so much time to tell you all the things. If you want, you can visit us on nöpel.com and contact me if you have any longer questions than after the presentation. So we have 3 parts now. The first is local competence, the second fees, and the third are some technical changes which you will see. And as you all know, or some of you, we had many changes from 2020 to 21 in the time of the pandemic, which was very curious. And let us see how it was last year. So until the end of 2020, the authority was responsible if the transport started in their competence area, or the transport arrived there, or the company had its seat or a branch in their competence area, or a service provider as us has a seat or branch there. Usually the companies and also we worked with one authority in our near, and yes, it all worked fine. And we still don't know why they had to change it now. Because in 2021, we have not more so many possibilities to order a permit. Now the authority is responsible where the permit is used for the first time, or in the area where the company has its seat, like last year, or a registered office in accordance with the commercial code. What means it? It means that you have your seat in one city, or you have an office, but with staff, with registered trucks and trailers, and so on. So it isn't not so easy. So the most usual way is to order the permit where you start the transport, or where you come into Germany over the border if the transport is empty, where the empty transport already need a permit. You will see it later. Then we can go back in 2020 with a card of Germany. So if you can imagine few transport companies order a permit, for example, when they drive from Rotterdam to Poland, and they ordered it at the service provider, for example, in the area of us, in the area near of Dortmund, or at the service provider in Bavaria, for example, or so on. And we always worked with authorities where we had a trustful contact with, and where the staff had long year experience, and they were trained to work with this complex and demanding work. In 2021, the same thing. If you drive from Rotterdam to Poland, you, as a non-German company, you only can order the permit at the border where you start from. So you can imagine what that means, that all the work has to be done in this authority where not so many people worked as at the authorities where the service provider had their seat. So, and if you don't have a branch or a seat in Germany, you have no other solution as to order it on this authority at the border. And what this means, so the impact of these, the authorities at the borders are overloaded. It's logical. So we had there 1 or 2 persons as staff in 2020, and they didn't get any chance to get new staff for the time in 2021, because up to the end of 2020, nobody knew how it will follow in 2021. Then we have the second problem, that this dismissal of well-trained workers in previously heavily frequented authorities. At our authority, where we ordered up to the end of last year, there were 10 workers, and now they only need 2. They had long year experience with the work. They did know what they do. They knew how the truck and trailer combination looks and so on. And all these workers has now to sign driver licenses or something like that. And we have a longer processing time and delayed information chains. Before the changing, we could take a phone call, a short phone conversation, and speak about some problems. Now we have the problem that we didn't reach anybody or always another person, and this needs time, so much more time than up to last year. And the 4th thing is distortion of competition. The why I can show you. In German companies which work long years with the authorities at their seat have still the same contact persons. So if you were a company in Hamburg, for example, and you had your seat there and you ordered the permits in Hamburg on the authority, you can still do it. If you had a service provider in Hamburg and had your seat in the Netherlands, for example, you cannot longer do it and you have to order at the border. And German companies also perceive more disadvantages than advantages in the system. So we have more non-German clients, but we still have German clients also. And I didn't hear one good word from them. Why they do all this, nobody knows. Still had not been communicated to me, and we tried to find out. And a big thing is that a number of associations and the city and district assembly, actually the majority of the authorities have spoken out against this decision in advance. So nobody wanted it. And one reason why it should come was the application tourism, which leads to the next point, fees. So they told us that the service provider or transport companies ordered a special authority because it was not so expensive as others. And yeah, we can look in the past and the last years, and we ordered not only at one authority, then a few. And one permit for 4 weeks roundabout costs €150 up to the end of 2020. Sometimes 160, sometimes 140. So any authority had their own fee schedule there, but they were compared, and they were nearly the same. Also for prolongations and changings for license plate, for example. And now we look to the system in 2021. We have also a fee schedule for all over Germany. And we always try to understand when we get a new permission and try to understand the price, but it's nearly impossible to understand it because there are still differences between federal states and cities. And in the main about the interpretation of the fee schedule. In particular, the number of participating bodies, you will see it in the next sheet, and the additional workload are sometimes significant points of contention. You see it here, that are the participation parts which can ask, if you ask for a permit, who allow to drive through this area, and the additional time they need to make the permit. And there is no clear system behind it to understand if it's normal or high up to now. The effects I will show you in a short example. It's a real case. So I ordered permits for 2 transports from middle Germany to the border to Switzerland. One was only the loading, which made the over dimensions. So the permit was used the first time in the middle of Germany. So I ordered it at this authority. And the other one also already the truck and trailer combination had over dimensions. So the first using was at the border. So I ordered it at this authority, empty, and loaded back. And here's the result. The first transport, only from the middle of Germany, loaded to the border, cost €230.80. The second one, which I ordered at the authority at the border, empty to this address and loaded back, cost €75. And the client asked me why. I cannot explain it to him. So we can ask the authority, but then we had to do it 100 times for each case. And what will happen is that the client will next time order something like a machine or only a tire that he can load it, can order loaded to this address and backload it to reach the €75. So they wanted to avoid the tourism, and now we have nearly no chance, no other chance than to do this tourism, which they want to avoid. Last part, I see the time is running. I could tell you something about all the day. Last part is the technical issues. We have a big problem in the VEMAGS system because there are curb weights of vehicles and cargo weights can be specified. What is good? And these are controlled by the authorities, which is also okay. And that happens often based on the vehicle documents or TÜV certificate, which we have to attach when we order a permit. So far, we have mostly mounted these weights up in coordination with the authorities due to fuel load, securing equipment, and other additional weights, which are not included during manufacture. Many of you know this, that when the truck runs out of the manufacturing, there's no fuel in it, and so on. However, many authorities no longer allow this. It only remains to set the load weight higher, which, however, does not correspond to the facts. So far, we have not received any replies on how this problem should be resolved in the future. I have made you a short picture here, and this is the actual status. So we order a permit with the real weights from the truck, empty, like in the documents, and the trailer, and the loading. Then we have a complete weight, which we cannot increase if we go to the facts. And then you have a driver, you always know when they are on the transport and 14 days away from home, sometimes even longer. They need their package and they have an emergency tire and so on. What means that no permit, any permit is really correct. We have mentioned this at few authorities, but until now we have not official answer for Germany. There are always other technical difficulties and can sometimes be resolved at short notice. So they have a telephone number for it. You can call, sometimes they solve it in one day. And some fixes even take longer and make day-to-day work considerably more difficult. So we are here with 8 persons who order permits for all of our clients. And yeah, they need even more time, 2 or 3 times more work for one permit than before. Yes, that was it up to here. I hope you enjoy it. And when we don't have enough time for all questions, then you have the possibility to get in contact with us. And I will find time anytime.
Always switch on the camera so that you see how you will.
Right, thank you very much indeed, Moritz, for that fascinating overlook. We have time for a few questions which are coming in. Was there any kind of consultation process before the new VEMAGS rules were implemented? Any kind of consultation or not?
No, not really. So they worked last year and talked about it, and it was even not sure until November or December if it really starts on January 2021, and also about the fees, it wasn't clear. No authority had really time to plan anything. They had no time to get enough staff for it. And yeah, there are still questions open, which not usually had resolved last year, but still aren't.
Okay, in the previous system, we could get the paragraph 29-year permit for one trailer and Laut par 70 tractors. So all paragraph 70 tractors were able to be used. Is this still able in the new system, or can we only use max 5 tractors and one trailer?
Good question, and depends actually on the authority where you order the permit. So the most of them allows 5 trucks and 10 same builded trailers, but they have to be built in the exact same way. So if you ever had a trailer with 15.5 tons and one trailer with 15.51 tons empty weight, then sometimes you won't get it because they are not built in the same way.
Okay, very specific answer. Thank you. Can you give us an insight, this is a more general thing, into how your business is managing through the pandemic? Do you see a strong recovery in Europe?
Oh, yeah, a good question. It's the crystal ball again. But we see that, yeah, there is an increase of requests in the first quarter, and I think they all prepare that we can start again as soon as the regulations in all countries going a little bit back. So I hope in the third quarter.
Okay, and a very general question here. What would be the simplest and most likely solution to the problems that you've been talking about?
Oh, that's a question which I have no answer in the moment.
Okay, well, a very general question anyway. But thank you so much, Moritz Dickmann from the Nöpel Group. Thank you for that presentation and for answering some of the questions. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. We're now going to move on to the second half of our awards presentation with 5 awards to announce in the categories that I think you can see now on your screen. So let's start with award 6 for a project by a telescopic crane with lifting capacity less than 120 tons. Now there's no shortlist for this particular category. Just one winner to be announced, and to do so, we're delighted to have our friend Tadashi Suzuki, CEO of Tadano Europe Holdings, one of our sponsors today. So over to you, Tadashi.
Alex, thank you very much for the introduction. And I'm also thankful for such a great opportunity to present the prestigious award. I'm very much delighted to announce that the winner of the crane telescopic lifting capacity up to 120 tons award is Wagenborg Net Lift.
There we are. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Tadashi. Wagenborg Neetlift. Before we speak to the winner, I can actually tell you that the award is for Wagenborg's work using a pair of electric compact cranes in a tandem lift to change out a sludge filtering press inside a building in a very limited space. I think you can see the photo at the moment. So well done to Wagenborg. Let's go live to the company's representative, who should be Managing Director, Gerard Bastiansen. Gerard, congratulations.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank ESTA and Willem Ritchie and his team for the fact that Wagenborg Netlift again has been awarded. Secondly, it is thanks to our great Wagenborg team of technical experts that we constantly strive to improve the quality of our services delivered to our clients and stimulate our innovative way of thinking. And we all know that safety is for many years priority number one in our business, but this one proves that sustainability will become as much as important as safety the next decade, to my opinion at least. As industry, we must act now and not wait for others to start. Our solution offered to our client in this very limited space available was safe and at the same time sustainable, which was one of the requirements. We used two 100% electric cranes. One was a Hoeflon, a Dutch one, and the other one was a Palfinger that was an own design of Wagenborg a few years ago to perform this lift. And we all know a few decades ago, it was probably done by two Demag AC40s, hydraulic cranes or similar cranes. This one is not the first ESTA award for Wagenborg Netlift, and I promise all my colleagues it will not be the last. Thank you all. Congratulations to all other winners. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hope to meet you live again in the near future. Bye.
Thank you very much indeed, and congratulations to you, Gerard Bastiansen. Let's move on now to award number 7, and the second transport category for trailer and load above 120 tons gross weight. So we have 4 companies shortlisted in this category. Let's start first of all with Collett & Sons for moving 4 tanks, the largest 3 of which made a gross vehicle weight of 253 tons over 190 kilometers in just 9 days. Next, we go back to Lasso, who transported 4 wind turbine generators, each weighing more than 120 tons on the island of Madeira. Third is Universal Transport Praha. It moved a stator unit weighing 184 tons, a distance of 800 kilometers journey across 2 countries. And finally, our 4th shortlisted entry is from Victor Baumann for transporting a 50-meter heat exchanger, forming a 503-ton combination with 1 truck and using 4 more trucks for the sections of road with 12% gradients. So in order to tell us who has won in this category, we're going to hand over to Gerhard Freiner, who is Managing Director of Sales at Liebherrwerk Nenzing, and who's representing the award sponsor Liebherr. Over to you.
Good afternoon. Now, I am delighted to announce that the winner of the Transport Job of the Year for trailer and load above 120 tons gross weight is Victor Baumann. Congratulations to Victor Baumann.
There we are. Thank you very much indeed. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Feiner. And from Victor Baumann, I think we have both Sabine Baumann-Duvenbeck and Sebastian Waldmann. Congratulations to you. Would you like to say a few words? No, we don't seem to have them. Is there anybody there from Victor Baumann? Sabine, Sebastian, can you hear us? No, we can't. I'm sure they're celebrating. Maybe they're celebrating too much. They can't, well, they're unmute. I'll give them a few more seconds to see if we can get them. No, I don't think so. But if you're watching us all at Victor Baumann, congratulations and very well deserved award. Maybe we'll put you back on if you can come back in afterwards, kind of things that happen with live award ceremonies. Anyway, so we have 3 more awards to announce, and the 8th is for the lattice boom crane job of the year. There are 3 very impressive jobs in the shortlist, and they are, first of all, Denley Transport and Trade for erecting a large wind turbine by lifting its 108-ton nacelle to a height of 121 meters using a 650-ton capacity crawler crane. Second is Mammoet Europe BV for a job to replace safety components on a dam involving a large crawler crane set up on top of the structure. And last, we have Sarens NV for lifting tasks carried out by its 5,000-ton capacity SGC 250 crane at the Hinkley Point C nuclear power station construction project in the UK. So let's find out who the winner is. And it's over again to Jens Ennen. As you know, at the beginning of the afternoon's proceedings, CEO of Tadano Demag Tadano Tadano Faun and of sponsor Tadano. So Jens, can you tell us who has won in this category?
Yeah, I can surely do that. First of all, we've finally managed to let the fog disappear. So this time you should be also able to see me. All very impressive jobs, but I'm happy to reveal that the lattice boom crane job of the year goes to Sarens for the project in Hinkley Point in the UK. Congratulations from my side. Impressive.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Jens, and I'm sure they're very happy. Sarens for the SGC 250 crane lifts at Hinkley Point C project in the UK. And I think we can go to the Director of Technical Solutions at Sarens, Carl Sarens. Hello, Carl, are you with us? Congratulations.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank everybody involved in this project. First of all, our client to have the trust in Sarens to build this machine that sets new boundaries in the lifting industry, we think. And of course, to our internal teams, both operation engineering and research and development, to develop this crane in a short time period and to meet all requirements in time and as predicted.
There we are. Well, thank you very much indeed, Carl Sarens. Very well-deserved award. I feel so awful that we didn't hear from our last awards winners, Sabine Baumann-Duvenbeck and Sebastian Waldmann. Let's try again. Apparently they're with us, but we couldn't hear them. Can you hear us now? Let's go back to Sabine Baumann-Duvenbeck for Victor Baumann. Can we hear you? No, oh dear. We so want to share in your enjoyment anyway, but maybe we'll see you some stage further in the afternoon. So now we've come to our 2 final awards, and we will celebrate the work of the industry's equipment suppliers with the Innovation from a Manufacturer award. And we have a short list of 2 companies this time. First of all, Liebherrwerk Nensing, for its LR 1200.1 and LR 1250.1 unplugged cranes, claimed to be the world's first battery-powered crawler cranes. And the second is Spearing's Mobile Cranes for the development of the Spearing Smart Connect online platform for customers, which is a remote-controlled system for crane monitoring, live adjustment, and predictive maintenance. So to announce the winner, we welcome Stein Sarens, the Secretary of ESTA. Stein.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to announce that the winner of the award for innovation from a manufacturer is Liebherr Nensing for its unplugged electrical crawler cranes. Congratulations, Liebherr.
So absolutely, congratulations to Liebherr representing the company. I think we have Gerhard Freiner once again, Managing Director of Sales at Liebherr Nensing. Over to you again.
Thank you. Wow, that is great news. That's really fantastic news. And I tell you, I'm proud to receive this prestigious award on behalf of our entire team. Our organization is very happy to be the winner this year, and this will encourage us and the whole Liebherr Group to further invest into advanced technologies. The year 2020 has shown that one must be open-minded and bold to break new grounds. Strict requirements regarding environmental sustainability increase the demand for alternative drive systems. The 200 and 250 tons crawler cranes unplugged are in use by our customers already. And in the course of this year, we will launch the 130 and 160 ton models. Now, thank you to the jury and the organizers of the ESTA Awards. We are very happy to receive this award. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations to you. Thank you very much for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Right, so now we move on to the last of our awards today, and it's for SPMT project of the Safrapel modular transporter. So there are 4 shortlisted companies, who I'm sure are all very nervous at the moment, trying to find out who's won this award. First, we have Magdenley Transport and Trade for its projects to transport a 160-ton call catcher and 3 filter modules at the Akuyu nuclear power plant in Turkey. Next, Mammoet Europe BV, which transported a 90-meter long lattice boom weighing 800 tons for a new Liebherr HLC 150,000 offshore crane in Rostock in Germany. Third is Sarens NV for the transport of bridge parts weighing up to 2,500 tons on the project to replace the Teunis Bridge in Belgium. And finally, once again, Wagenbord Netlift used 2 sets of 12 axle lines of SPMT with power packs to move a 650-ton block out of a factory to the yard outside as part of the construction of a cargo vessel. This will be our last award of the day, so it's time to find out who our final winner is. And to make the announcement, please welcome Christoph Kleiner, Managing Director of Liebherr Ennen. Christoph.
Yeah, Alex, thank you again. Hello to everybody again from Ehingen. Please excuse me for taking this opportunity to congratulate our sister company Nensing for winning the Innovation Award. We will definitely also benefit here, and thank you to ESTA and KHL to keep this award ceremony ongoing, and ideally wish that this is the last time we do it in this way, and next year we can really meet in person again and celebrate together again and have some beer together or whatever. Until it is next year, as one of the 4 mentioned shortlisted companies can celebrate to be the winner in the category SPMT, and the winner is Wagenborg Netlift for moving a 650-ton block during the construction of a cargo vessel. Congratulations.
So there we are. Congratulations to Wagenborg Netlift. Once again, that's the final of our awards. That's the second win today. And welcome back to the company's Managing Director, Gerard Bastiansen. Gerard, congratulations. Second win today. Would you like to say something?
Well, thank you very much. And it's just not a cargo vessel. It's one of the most sustainable cargo vessels in the world. It's the second one in our Easy Max type series. And it's named after our queen. It's named after Maxima. And she will do the ceremony once Corona is over. And probably it will be done during the Delft sail, which will be done by Wagenborg in 2022. So this vessel, you will see more of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you and congratulations. Should we give it one more go? Because apparently they're trying to talk to us, and it would be nice to see they have their video and their sound on. I'll give them one more chance to react. Hopefully we can get them from Victor Baumann, Sabine Baumann-Duvenbeck, and Sebastian Waldmann. Hello, Sabina and Sebastian. Can we hear you? No, this is so frustrating. We so much wanted. Anyway, listen, everybody's celebrating with you. Maybe there's a technical hitch, but anyway, you do fantastic things technically in your profession, which is the main point. So there we are. Congratulations to all our winners, but congratulations also to all the nominees. Obviously, tremendous achievements simply to be in the nominees and to have won some of these awards. So we can now move on to the final session of the day. But before I introduce the next speakers, we thought it'd be interesting to have a second and final poll. So if you could now please click on the poll section of the platform, you should see the following question. What should be the highest priority now for our industry? So what should be the highest priority for our industry? Is it sustainability and the environment? Is it improving safety, technological innovation, or streamlining international regulations? It all seem pretty important to me, but I'll give you a few more seconds to cogitate and to make your decision. So, and while you're all doing that, I will introduce our next speakers, who are Garrick Nisbet of Notus Heavy Lift and Dan Massey, who's Senior Project Manager at Specialized Transport Company Osprey. They are going to be updating us on the latest heavy lift and transport activities on the Hinkley Point C project, which we've heard about in the awards, and which was one of our winners for Sarence. Right, okay, let's have a look. And this is slightly more evenly handed, actually quite equal between what I'm saying from sustainability and the environment, and improving safety, which has now shot up to be the most important one. But it's quite interesting because it's all quite equal, much more so than our first poll. Technological innovation, slightly less so, and streamlining international regulations. Well, isn't that interesting? Thank you very much for having taken part in that live poll. We did want to consult you because obviously your views in the industry are important. Right, so as I said, over to our two speakers, Garrick Nisbet of Notus Heavy Lift and Dan Massey, Senior Project Manager at Osprey. And once again, any questions for our two speakers, I will put them to them afterwards. So over to you, gentlemen.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Hope you can all hear me okay and see me now. I'm going to confess to being slightly miffed that, that Sarens have stolen my video background for their presentation part on their awards. Congratulations to them on the award already. It was nice to see. It was nice to see our project getting a little mention before I came on there. So, yeah. So just a quick introduction. I'm going to be presenting. My name's Garrick Nisbet. I'm the projects director for Notus Heavy Lift Solutions, and I am also wear two hats. My second hat is I am also the HPC project lifting manager for Hinkley Point C. Today I'm going to be presenting with Dan Massey, who is Osprey's senior project manager, who has been one of the key tier 1 contractors supporting us with some of the critical work, heavy lifts that we've been and transport operations that we've been doing down at HPC. So I'm going to start by giving you a quick update on what Hinkley Point C is. I'm sure most of you are already aware of it. Just a few general statistics about it. It's the first nuclear new build power station to be built in a generation. The previous power station built was in the UK was Sizewell B, which I think was 1988 was when that started. So first new power station in the UK for over 30 years. It consists of the construction of 2 EPR reactors, which will combined produce 3.2 gigawatts of electricity. It's going to consist of 230,000 tons of steel reinforcing rebar. It's a fair old amount. It's going to have 50,000 tons of structural steel. Little interesting statistic is that that's enough for 5 London Eyes, or so my comms team tell me. There has already been in the regions of 6 million cubic meters of earth excavated to facilitate the construction of the project. Bear in mind it's got to be seismic, compliant with seismic conditions to be able to absorb earthquakes in the event of that happening. Around 3.5 million tons of concrete will be used to construct the HPC for the live plant. At peak construction time, which we're almost at just now, we will have in excess of 7,500 people working on HPC every day. And obviously with a project of that scale, being the biggest in Europe, currently under construction at this moment in time, that's a massive undertaking, especially when we were faced with the unfortunate COVID-19 pandemic, which has hit the globe towards the end of 2019 and start of 2020. Now, obviously, because of HPC's critical nature, we were very lucky to be given permission to continue work based on the critical nature and the need to achieve net zero as soon as possible, and to continue providing power to the UK. Now, that was achieved by some incredible work by everyone down on HPC. What I'd just like to show you is a very quick video, which is the end of year progress update video from HPC at the end of 2020. So this should play. It played in rehearsals. Classic. I don't know if we have any other way of doing that. May have actually. Apologies, everyone. I should be able to play the live file for you. Hopefully this one works.
It's thanks to the many. It's thanks to you all. To the change makers. The innovators.
Chris, are we able to see that?
How are we doing? All right, thank you.
The unsung heroes who've kept us safe. It's thanks to our carers.
Hi, how are you doing? All right.
Our providers.
Your day going all right?
Wonderful, thank you.
And to our guardians. It's thanks to the front line, the volunteers, the selfless, for supporting our communities.
Great job, thanks.
It's thanks to our friends, to our team across the globe. It's thanks to all the grafters, whether together,
The team are doing an amazing job.
or apart, who kept working, kept pushing, kept striving. It's thanks to everyone who's adapted and delivered to keep construction going. And just look at what we've achieved. thank you to everyone who helped us get through this most challenging year. Together, we write history on our journey to net zero.
Okay, so apologies for the technical issues there, but hopefully you all managed to see that video okay. I do have another couple of videos, and hopefully those will play without any issues, but we shall see how we go. Okay, so that's an update on the site in general, but of course we are all lifting and transport people on this ceremony and presentation, so we are more interested in lifting and lifting activities on site. So an update from me in terms of what we're doing on this fantastic project in terms of lifting operations. So we will have at peak time, we will have 54 tower cranes operating on site. We currently have 49 on site, including one of the world's largest tower cranes, which is the Favco, the Men from Mars Favco MV248D, capable, I think it's 330 tons capacity, about 48 meters radius, that machine. We also have, as you've already seen, the award-winning, I can now say, world's largest capacity land-based crane, Sarns SGC 250, with a maximum load moment of 250,000 tons. We'll have some more video and details on that in a moment. At any one time, we have 450 lifting specific operatives working on HPC. So these are lifting professionals. They're not people who also undertake who undertake lifting as a secondary part of the role. They are specific lifting individuals. We also have a number of trade operatives who also do lifting activities. We are currently carrying out around 90,000 lifting operations each month, which is a staggering amount, and that figure is growing. We conducted nearly 900,000 lifting operations in 2020, and so far in 2021, that should be for a little typo there. So in 2020 so far, Q1 of 2021, sorry, we have carried out 250,000 lifting operations. And unfortunately, we did have our first lifting lost time injury through a lifting operation in September of last year, which was really unfortunate. We'd gone 3 years, or nearly 3 years, without a lost time injury through lifting. It was actually 1.5 million lifting operations we conducted without a lost time injury. Unfortunately, we had a gentleman injured himself in a lifting operation in September, which we have learned from. I'm happy to say the gentleman is now okay and is back at work. And since that time, we have now conducted 520,000 lifting operations since that gentleman injured himself, which is a statistic we're very, very proud of here at HPC. So some of the heavy lifts we've done at HPC, give you a quick overview of some of the more critical major lifts. Of course, we are doing multiple heavy lifts on a daily basis and on HPC, but here are some of the kind of the critical path works. So this here you'll see the SGC 250 Sarens Big Carl carrying a lift of the HL precast slab, which it was 18 meters long by 11 meters wide and 5 meters in height. I can tell you the photo doesn't do it justice. That piece of precast was massive. The net load weight for that lift was 862 tons. And then this was, again, this was one of the photos that Sarns, that was shown when Sarns were winning the award earlier. This was the lifting of the bottom liner cup for reactor building unit 2. Dimensions of this were 46 meters in diameter, 17 meters high. The net load weight of the liner cup, which forms the base of reactor building, was 177 tons of plate steel. The lifting frame, which was required to spread the load and ensure even distribution of lifting accessories and tension, along with the SAR spin, which rotates the load in the air and allows it to be adjusted for landing position. Combined with the hook block gave a combined gross load weight of 373 tons. The load was installed and lifted into a position at 133 meters radius with 373 tons. An impressive lift. I can also tell you that that was the second time, I believe, that the crane, the heavy load crane, was used to pick up a large load and travel with it. That load that you can see there, the crane picked that load up and travelled, tracked back with it for 230 meters with it suspended at a safe height. Very, very impressive lift. And then we had some other critical path works as part of our tunnelling elements of the project. You can see here, this is ALE and Mammut's Gottwald AK912, which is it's a lot older than me. It's 35 years old, that crane. And you can see it. You can see it here lifting the cutter head and tail can section of the TBM component. Maximum lift radius was 23.4 meters. The net load weight of that TBM section was 526 tons, making the gross load weight 559 tons at 23.4 meters. Again, very impressive lift, planned to perfection by the Mammut ALE teams in conjunction with Balfour Beatty's lifting teams. And this one here, you can also see this is Mammut, a lifting operation conducted by Balfour Beatty's lifting team. This is a 60-ton steel reinforcement elbow, which forms part of the outfall cooling water system, being lifted into position using an LTM 1750. I think there was about 400 millimeters clearance as that was placed down through the HCA outfall shaft that you can just see in the photograph there. Again, very impressive lift. And then last but not least, we have another major critical lift carried out by the SGC 250. The last lift I showed you there was the bottom liner cup for Unit 2. This is actually the first liner ring section which goes on top of the bottom liner cup, sorry, for Unit 1. Now let's see, hopefully this video will play. If I'm going to be lucky, there we go. So luckily that one managed to work without too much technical difficulty. So yeah, we've seen I've presented on some of the major critical heavy lifts carried out on HPC. What you can see there is a collaboration between some extremely competent and highly dedicated lifting professionals, which I am absolutely delighted and proud to be the lifting manager who looks after these people. But none of these lifts would be possible without the dedication and commitment and efforts of some fantastic people that we have down on this project. So this is a testament. Some of these lifts, they're a testament to the quality of the people we have working down on this project. One of which I'm just going to introduce you to. We have a presentation now. I'm going to hand over to Daniel Massey, who is the Senior Projects Manager for Osprey. Osprey were engaged, Dan will give you the details, but Osprey are one of the contractors that we have engaged with to carry out some of the major critical path activities on HPC. So I'll hand you over to you, Dan.
Cheers, Garrick. Before I start, I guess I just want to say congratulations to all the winners so far, and big congratulations to the organisers actually, because it's been fantastic and it's a big feat to get so many people virtually attending the awards, and you've done a really good job. So congratulations for that. So just to touch on what Garrick was saying, I'm Dan Massey, Senior Project Manager for Osprey. Osprey are responsible for the shared services scope of work at Hinkley Point as a Tier 1 for EDF. Basically means the marine, receiving marine transportation, land transportation, and the final mile SPMT transportation on site to final installation position, be that the SGC or another location on site. So the dome liner transportations was the latest batch of abnormal indivisible load transportations for the project. The dome liners are, as Garrick touched on earlier, essentially, as they're named, the liner for the nuclear reactor dome. They're exceptionally wide. They're up to 9 meters wide. And the first batch of transportations was 2 dome liner frames, complete with the panels that make up the dome liner. So basically, we were approached by Hinkley Point to perform the transportation of the dome liner frames from Saint-Nazaire in France to the Hinkley Point C project. As an already embedded Tier 1, we were able to react quickly with planning and engineering and equipment allocations so the project could commence pretty much immediately. So our scope, just to outline a little bit of our scope, the engineering and the planning. So the planning stages were in depth. Hinkley Point C is an Office of Nuclear Regulation regulated site, so there was a lot of review processes to go through. So we had to start the planning and the engineering very quickly. The marine transportation itself via European coastal vessel. Customs clearances, which was a really important point with Brexit happening. We were able to take over the customs clearances from France and essentially do them immediately upon arrival in the UK. A really fast turnaround for the customs clearances due to the contacts we've got in the government and the customs clearances systems. The lifting at the jetty after arrival. So the jetty is the Hinkley Point, and we'll come on to the next slide in a little video to show everyone the jetty. So the jetty I refer to there is the Hinkley Point aggregate jetty. It's normally used for aggregate deliveries to the project, mainly for the civils construction. We used the jetty in an innovative way to deliver these wide loads, and they were the first major heavy lift components to be delivered via this method. Once they arrived at the jetty, we performed the site transportation from the end of the jetty head to the final lifting position where they were lifted off by the SGC to a laydown area for further work. So some of the equipment we used, I touched on the coaster vessel. We used an LTM 1300 6.2 at 84% utilisation, including the dynamic factors. That includes a dome liner weight of 30.5 tonne and a rigging weight of 2.7 tonne at 18 metres radius on that lift. The 2 6-axle Schuyler Gen 3 SPMT trailers with Z180 power packs. The Z180s were chosen specifically for this due to the limitations on the jetty head. They're slightly less heavy, which brought the axle loads within the limitations. So we used them at around 30% capacity. So they were well within capacity for these relatively light loads but exceptionally wide loads. So some of the considerations for these deliveries were, as I've touched on, the first, utilisation of the aggregate jetty for heavy lift delivery, and some of the stakeholder engagement. So we had to engage with many different teams at Hinkley, including Garrick's lifting team, some of the marine teams responsible for the jetty, and the site operations teams. So all that went really well. And the next slide, basically, we flick onto is the outcome of all I've just discussed. So if we can have a look at the video. There we have it, successful dome liner delivery. So the end result was successful delivery. We demonstrated the capability of the jetty to handle heavy lift loads, or abnormal indivisible loads, as is more correct. We removed traffic from the local road networks, so important one on World Earth Day, to be sustainable and remove emissions from the local road networks. We don't. Some of the road networks around Hinkley are difficult, to say the least. So we've removed a lot of traffic from the roads. So that's a big positive. And as I mentioned earlier, some exemplary teamwork and planning as an end result, really important for the project. A lot of learning from this operation, and to be honest, one of the most important things to take away from the job I've just discussed and the job that was performed was the learning. So the learning information that we've gathered is going to be there for the rest of time for the project, for other people to use as well. So it's really important for us also. So it's a general heavy lift update for the project based on what Osprey are doing. So there's a further 22 packages going to be coming into the jetty for the remainder of the year based on that highly successful first operation. Heavy lifts for the project have already started arriving into storage. 1,200 tonne of abnormal loads have already arrived. I think the project overall, there's around 38,000 tonne of abnormal load coming into the project, of which around 34,000 are going to be marine transportable loads. So we've basically received less than 5% of the overall heavy lift components for the project. So there's a long way to go for the project, which is good. And Tier 1 suppliers have started plans to ship key components to the site. So many of us on the call will have seen the likes of GE and other components getting ready in factories around Europe. They'll all start to arrive soon for the project. So I've put the last couple of slides in, a little bit of an Osprey plug. Not many of you will know in too much detail about us. I'm not going to read this slide out word by word, but we're an independent British heavy lift operator. We've been in business for around 25 years now, and we've got some of the most capable heavy lift cranes in the UK, which work around the UK predominantly, and wider Europe where required. Over 120 SPMT axle lines and power packs used in all sorts of different industries, as you can see there on the page. Just a little bit of a summary about the things Osprey can do. Just want to touch on really is the port services. It's obviously a very difficult time with Brexit and importing material and project cargo into the UK and out of the UK. One of the things we pride ourselves on is our ability in local ports and the services we provide in terms of customs clearance and managing the Brexit impact. So I won't go into too much detail on that one. I think the presentation will be shared around at the end. It's available to download, I think. That concludes my part. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you to both of you, both Garrick and Dan. Really interesting presentation and very moving videos. It's always moving to see the huge efforts that go into these things that we hear about in the news, and it's nice to see what goes on behind the scenes. What a spectacular project it was. We have a few questions coming in, so if you could take them. Garrick, how happy are you with the SGC 250 crane? Could you have made use of an even bigger one?
Is someone trying to sell me a crane? Well, so yeah, the SGC 250 at its time was the largest land-based crane under construction. It was designed specifically to come to HPC and to be used in future nuclear new build projects. It has been an absolutely fantastic asset to the project. It's a monument. You can see it for miles around. I can't, anytime I do these presentations or briefings to anyone, it's always the first question I get asked is about the SGC 250. It's a remarkable machine, and yeah, I couldn't be happier with it, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, with the benefit of hindsight, is there anything significant that you might have done differently in terms of the lifting operations?
Yeah, I think as human beings and as professionals, if you can't learn from mistakes, then you're not doing your job properly. I think we would potentially look at options for having less cranes with higher utilization figures, as opposed to having more cranes working less. I think I would probably de-risk a future project by having less cranes working more, reducing not necessarily the number of lifting operations carried out, but certainly the risk of collisions and the amount of loads flying overhead, or we don't allow lifts overhead, but the less cranes we would have, the less risk of that. So yeah, potentially for the future, I would learn from maybe having a revised lifting crane strategy.
Okay, I don't know if Dan wants to add anything. Any lessons you've learned with hindsight?
To be honest, on the scope we just discussed regarding the dome liners, no, we did really well with the planning and the engineering. I think Garrick would agree. The lessons learned for the crane operation were all fairly minor ones. Ones we can really easily enact. There's no major lessons learned in terms of the crane operations and the lifting side of things.
Okay, another question. What has been the main lesson for you in how to create and maintain a working culture where safety is a priority, Garrick?
So that's a good question. So one of the key things is buy-in. So when we came to the project 4 years ago, there had been, prior to our arrival, a couple of serious accidents using minor items of lifting equipment, excavators and telehandlers and such. And what we did was we introduced a best-in-class industry-leading standard, which really set high standards in regards to lifting operations on site. And it's really important. It's a challenge that if you write a standard that people will not agree with or will refuse to even attempt to adhere to, then you might as well not write one. So I think that was the biggest challenge, was ensuring we had buy-in of everyone on the project to the standards that we wanted to create here.
What has been your experience of working with the large Fabco tower crane? Has it changed your view on how tower cranes can be used on a project like this?
So the Fabco crane has been absolutely essential to the project. It has served its purpose extremely well. I think when I spoke about possible revised strategies for other projects in the future, when I say I would like to see less cranes working at a higher utilization figure, one of the things we could do is we could use, instead of having 50 medium-sized tower cranes, we could have potentially 10 or 12 much larger capacity, longer reach tower cranes, such as the Fabco. There's risk in that, as any crane can potentially break down. So the less cranes you have, the higher impact you would have from the effects of downtime from a crane. So every crane has its place, I think.
Okay, Dan, how much have constraints on load dimensions affected the transport operations?
So, good question. So I guess there's two parts to this. There's the on-site transport operations, load dimensions, and the off-site transport operations. I'll start with the on-site. On-site, if we're using the jetty, load dimensions are critical. There's things we need to get past on the jetty. So the dome liners at 9 meters wide would be a maximum. The on-site work after the jetty, so as we're going around site and up and down into lay-down locations, that's normally fine in terms of load dimensions. We have a great team on site who can move infrastructure relatively easily. With the support of Garrick and his team and the site operations team, normally any size load can be moved on site with enough pre-planning. Off-site, so transportation of equipment which doesn't come into the jetty and instead goes via a different route, a ro-ro route, roll-on, roll-off barge loading route. We do have constraints. There are constraints on load dimensions. However, with good planning, and this is one of the benefits of bringing operators and heavy lift contractors in really early in the planning stages. With good planning and route surveys, which we performed many years ago, we were able to define maximum dimensions. So fabricators and the project know exactly the maximum dimensions that can be transported to the project, and designs are adjusted to suit.
Okay, quick final question, but interesting one. What has been and will be the impact on the Bristol Channel tide flow on marine lifting operations? Garrick, do you want to take that one quickly?
So, to be perfectly honest, that question is more related to the marine part for the project, which although some of the marine lifting and the marine transport works will be to service the project, it's actually out with EDF Energies and my scope. It falls under the Balfour Beatty Marine package, so it'd probably be a question that would need to be directed towards them, to be honest.
Okay, Daniel, do you want to answer
that? In terms of the lifting operations, again, it's with a different contractor. However, Osprey are responsible for the barge transportation of abnormal loads. I think the heaviest load is up to about 600 ton, 850 ton with the trailer. So we are responsible for moving loads on barges and doing roll-on, roll-off operations with barges in the Bristol Channel. It's a good question, and the tidal range is around 11, 12 meters in the Bristol Channel. It's the second highest in the world. It is a real challenge, and it is probably the biggest environmental constraint on the project, barring wind, that affects Garrick probably a bit more than us. With the tide, yeah, how would you get around the tide? The main port of entry in the UK is a locked port, so we don't have tidal constraints within a locked port. There are well-known processes, entry and exit from the UK ports in the Bristol Channel, so we don't worry too much about entry and exit and transportation times within the Bristol Channel because of the tide. However, we do have to consider the tide when we're moving equipment via barge to the project offloading facility in a small village called Cummich. It's along the River Parrett, and it is a challenge. However, there are times at which you can go into Cummich at high tide and do offloading operations and leave before you can't get out of Cummich. It's possible, and it's a well-trodden route for heavy lift operations, both at Hinkley C and Hinkley Point B, which was also used. Cummich was also used heavily. So yeah, the tide is a big challenge, but it's a nice challenge. It's a good challenge for us to have, and it's one we enjoy tackling.
Okay, well, thank you so much to both of you. It was really fascinating. I certainly learned quite a lot from both Garrick and Dan on that spectacular project. Garrick Nisbet of Notus and Dan Massey of Osprey. Thank you so much for answering questions. Thank you very much. Right, I have been reliably informed, but never quite sure with this because we've so much that apparently they tried to talk to us, and they're so happy to have won the transport trailer and load above 120 tons. You know, we've tried to get a connection about 4 times with Sabine Baumann-Dudenbeck and Sebastian Waldmann. This really is the last attempt, but I've been told they're there. Let's have a look. Are you with us, Sabine and Sebastian?
We are with you. Hello.
Good afternoon. Well, first of all, we're very happy that we're more successful in heavy load projects than in Zoom meetings. Yes, we're very proud to have won the award of 120 tons. And we want to thank you, especially everybody in the team who participated and gave it his best to the performance and achieved the end. It was the port of Passau. The requirements of this project were really high. The gradients on the route were up to 13%. And the center of gravity of the load was 8 meters. So we were very lucky to find a gradient measuring system beforehand that is usually used in shipping. With this media, we could always know how much the gradient had to be adjusted on the route. So we finally, after 4 days, arrived in Passau. Thank you.
Fantastic. And so there we are. The wait was worth it in the end. We tried so hard to get in touch with you, but it was very important that you say something. There we are for the transport trailer load above 120 tons. Won about 10 awards today. That was Sabine Baumann-Dudenbeck and Sebastian Waldmann. Congratulations. Now for the final part of the event today, I'm delighted to hand over to Sten Salens, the Secretary of ESTA, who would like to say a few words to conclude. Over to you, Sten.
Thank you very much, Alex, and thank you for hosting this event so expertly today. Before we close, I just want to say a few brief words on behalf of ESTA. My first task is simply to congratulate everyone involved in the awards today, the winners, of course, but also all the finalists and everyone that entered. In such difficult times, the involvement of our members and their support is appreciated even more than usual. And the same applies to the judges, led as always by Wim Ritchie, our sponsors, our partners at the KHL Group and International Cranes and Specialized Transport. And I would also like to make a special mention of our 4 excellent speakers we had today. Thank you all very much indeed. As Ton mentioned before, I think our plan is to celebrate this year's award winners in person at the ESTA's autumn meeting and dinner in Helsinki in October, if we are allowed to do so. Personally, I'm looking forward to that immensely. I can't wait to meet everybody face to face again. I guess I'm not alone in that. And I also want to take a moment to remind you of some of ESTA's activities. For example, tomorrow morning, we are holding an online joint crane and transport section meeting. That is an open meeting and free to attend for everyone. And in the afternoon, for members only, we are holding our General Assembly meeting. It's not too late to register for those. You can do either through our website or by contacting the ESTA office. And I would like to end with a small appeal. On our website, there are details of our work on wide ranges of issues, such as safety, training, permits, European regulations, and much more. And as a small organization, we really rely on the expertise and feedback from our members and the wider industry. So please get in touch with us and share with us your experience. At this time, we are particularly interested in your experiences with the VEMAGS system in Germany and the blind spot signaling and the stickers in France. And we really look forward to hearing from you on those topics. That is all I want to say. On behalf of ESTA, thank you again to all of who made this event happen. And I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible in person in October in Finland later this year. For the moment, wherever you are, keep well and good luck. Back to you, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those concluding words. Stein, can I just remind you that a recording of this whole event will be available to view in due course at khl.com, and all the attendees will receive an email notification. Can I also remind you that you're still invited to stay on this platform for the next hour or so that you can network with fellow attendees. You can send chat messages or make video calls with other delegates, and the platform will remain live for the rest of the evening and for the following days. So it's been great as ever in these events to have been your host. It's always enjoyable. Thank you for attending. Thank you for asking all the questions and great presentations. Congratulations to all the nominees and of course also to the winners. Have a great evening and goodbye.